I came home from my exchange
Okay.
home to Germany. My parents had friends over, a couple. She is Spanish and he's Argentinian. So he would ask me how I was going to Argentina, and I told him I was with this second host family in San Luis. And he said, "Oh, that's interesting because we used to live in Argentina in San Luis 30 years ago, so in the 70s." And then I said, "Yeah, I was living with this single mom who works as a teacher and also at university as a math professor." And he said, "This is interesting because we used to work at the university."
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Life Exchange Stories of Understanding. I'm your host, Kelsey Ross, and today we are joined in studio with our very special guest. Why don't you tell the people who you are?
Hi, Kelsey. I'm Christian. I'm from YFU Germany, visiting the YFU USA office this week.
Awesome.
To work on some things with my colleagues here, and I'm happy to be here.
And we are happy to have you here, and I'm very appreciative of you taking time out of your very busy schedule to talk to me and talk to everybody about your story and how you ended up here. So let's begin. When did you first hear about YFU?
Oh, wow. Okay. I have to think way back.
Okay.
I suppose that was in the middle of the 1990s when
Nice.
My sister first signed up for a YFU program.
Okay.
She spent a year in the US with YFU.
Okay.
And that's when I first heard about YFU, long before I later took part in the program myself.
Gotcha. All right. And so she ended up coming to the United States. And where was she placed, out of curiosity?
She spent her year in Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And then she got her year, and then she ended up coming back, and that was the spark for you. Like, I want to do that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
She had such a great experience. I think I even believe she's still in contact with her host family from back then nowadays. And she had a really great experience, and I thought I want to do the same.
Okay.
I did not want to go to the US though back then, because
Really?
that was kind of the big program, the thing everybody did. And I said, no, I'm going to do something different.
I'm going to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah.
So where did you, cool kid, end up going?
Argentina.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. It was not my first choice back then, because I was so cool not wanting to go to the US. I wanted to go to Canada instead, because that was the cool destination everybody wanted to go to back then. But there were very few spots available. So it was like the place you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And my sister convinced me to reconsider and think of other destinations. So I ended up going to Argentina.
Interesting. Did you have any Spanish speaking ability before going?
Yes, I grew up bilingual. My family's half Spanish, in fact, and I grew up in Latin America for a couple of years when I was little.
Okay.
So it also was kind of, the right thing to do, the obvious thing to go to Latin America.
Gotcha. That's really cool. I haven't talked to anybody yet who's gone to Latin America. It's fine. It's nice to get that perspective now. So it wasn't your first choice. It was farther down on the choices. But when you finally did hear, hey, you're studying abroad, you're going here, what was that feeling like?
Oh, it felt great. It was so cool to just know I had a place in the program, because also back then the demand for the programs was very high, and it was not at all clear that you would get a spot.
Yeah.
And it just felt amazing, and I was looking forward to what I had coming.
Awesome. And on your parents' end, I assume it was a little easier for you to convince your parents than it was for your sister.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that she had to convince them.
Yeah.
They were pretty open about supporting us in whatever plans we had. Mm-hmm. So I do not remember that she had to struggle with her plans to go on exchange. Okay. But obviously, once she had her wonderful experience in the US, my parents were like, okay, why don't you want to do the same? So they were also asking, or not asking, but encouraging us to go. I have a brother. He's in between my sister and me. And he did not end up going, but my parents would also have supported that. So, yeah.
That's great. It's nice to hear how supportive your family was about that. We've had a few times where we've talked to students who had to do some very interesting things to convince their parents it was okay. I'm sure you've heard stories too.
Yeah.
My favorites are the ones who applied without telling their parents and then were like, hey, mom and dad, I've got the scholarship.
Yeah.
Here's a PowerPoint as to why I should go and why you should be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I consider myself very lucky in that regard. Also, that my parents were able to afford the program. I mean, it's not cheap to go on an exchange program like that. Apart from all the letting your kid go and being away from them, so the financial aspect is a big aspect, and that's why I one of the things that I appreciate a lot about YFU that YFU offers a lot of scholarships and offers to kids that may not be able to afford a program themselves. We luckily did not have to rely on that back then. So thank you to my parents. Yeah,
big thank you to mom and dad. They're great. So walk me back to that moment after. So you found out you were going on a program. Did you know right then and there that you had a host family that selected you, or did you find that out later?
So the process of signing up with YFU is a rather lengthy one, or it used to be a rather lengthy one. You had to fill out all kinds of papers and then wait to hear back. So until you were invited to an interview, and then wait again until they let you know if you had passed or not. And then again, wait until you knew if you got the country of choice or not. So I think I started signing up some around April 2001.
Okay.
Probably got my acceptance letters in August or September that year.
Oh, wow.
A couple of months later. And I remember I got my placement in May the following year. So from signing up to getting my host family, it was a year back then. And I was one of the first ones out of my group to get their host family.
Oh.
And I still remember the first thing we did not have internet back then. Hard to believe nowadays. It was the beginning of the 2000s, and we did not yet have internet connection at home. So I took out the atlas to find the city where my host family was living.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was very exciting.
And it's funny, the internet connection, because I grew up in a very, very rural town in the United States, and we had dial-up all the way up until my senior year of high school in 2013. Yeah. Wow. So it's weird thinking about the world without the internet connecting us all, but So were you able to write letters at all back and forth and get to know them at all before getting to meet them in person?
So we did send one or two letters. I had about 3 months before I departed on the exchange, and that allowed for one or two letters to be exchanged, but no more than that. I mean, that's something that is different nowadays, and certainly cool to be able to connect with your host family quickly and have a video call maybe. But somehow I think for me, it was better like that, because that way I did not picture for myself what they would be like, or and I could just meet them without, without any preconception in my head.
Yeah. You like a full authentic experience, no preconceived notions or anything like that. I like that way of thinking about it. And did you have any sort of preconceived ideas of what Argentina would be like before you got there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's how do I put that? It's not going to put me in a good light, because I was certainly not the model exchange student back then. I had all kinds of preconceptions in my head about the world, and why I should not be going to the US, why Argentina would be a good choice. And I clearly remember my sister encouraged me to just choose another country, because Canada would not be easy to get in. And by the way, I'm so happy she did that. I'm absolutely satisfied with how things went, and going to Argentina was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And so I sat down and thought, okay, which country should I go to? And it was like Latin America. Obviously, I spoke Spanish. It was a good thing to do. And then I thought Argentina is the richest country in Latin America and possibly the most European, the one closest to European culture. So that's probably the best choice. And that was my reasoning back then. I mean, wow, that's not what we expect from exchange students, do we?
Yeah, I mean, we try to tell them. I mean, I'm sure you know too. We try to tell them not to have any preconceived ideas of where they're going, but especially now with like the media landscape that we have, I think it can be even harder to not go into it without some sort of idea of what you're walking into, or at least what you think you're walking into.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense. And I mean, give yourself some grace too. You were a kid at that point. You were a child.
Yeah.
How old were you when you went on exchange?
Oh my God. I must have been, I was 16.
Oh, good.
And I turned 17.
Yeah, you're a baby. You were a kid.
Yeah. And I mean, in part, that is what the exchange is also about, to allow the kids to have a learning experience. I mean, we don't intend for them to be grown-up adults who make always good choices before they go on exchange.
Exactly.
But we hope that they can learn something from the experience, right?
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the culture around studying abroad is similar in Germany. I know in the United States it tends to be really a thing you see college students doing and studying abroad during their college year. So it always kind of surprises me to hear these children, these high school kids, are going and studying abroad. So, you know, why go in high school as opposed to waiting for university?
So, yeah, it's true. It's a big thing in Germany, and it's always been historically. So I think there's the main reason is that the way you experience things at that age is different from any other time in your lifetime, probably, right? When you go in college, you probably already have some freedom, and that you also don't want to give up. Your ideas of the world and of who you want to be have already been shaped, or shaped further than at 15 or 16, right? So, yeah, I think it's that it allows you to have an experience that can still impact you and the way you're going to learn for the rest of your life in a way that is not possible later in time.
I appreciate that insight.
And sorry if I may add that.
You are fine.
In Germany, obviously, the student exchange has a historically important role because it was initiated between the United States and Germany after World War II as a means to teach Germans the values of democracy, and I think that is another big reason why student exchange is so big and so popular in Germany, and more popular than elsewhere, I think.
Makes sense. All right. So now coming back to that moment, you got your plane ticket, you fly halfway across the world, and you land in Argentina. What was that moment like in meeting your host family in person for the first time?
So we did not fly immediately to our host families. We flew to Buenos Aires and gathered with all the international students and YFU staff first for a 3-day arrival orientation. And I remember it was summer in Argentina, but it was freezing cold in Buenos Aires.
Because like the equator with the flipped seasons, right? Oh, okay.
So I was expecting hot weather. Yeah. And then it was freezing cold. And then after those 3 days, I flew up to where my host family lived in the north of Argentina, and got out of the plane, and the heat just struck me. It's like, oh my God. What was it like? It honestly, it felt a bit weird because it was like, okay, that was the moment I realized I'm on my own. I flew up on my own. There was no other students anymore with me. It was really just me. So that was the moment that I realized for the very first time throughout the entire process, from signing up to getting on board of the first plane. It's just me now, and me and the host family, and they welcomed me. They brought a German flag to the airport with them. was very nice, and they had a cake prepared with the Argentinian and German flags, and we had a big barbecue in the garden that day. So it was a very lovely day, but I remember it felt very strange to be somewhere else and with no people I knew at that point.
I imagine there's some fear, some anxiety welling up in those moments.
Yeah, I did not feel anxious, but it was like, okay, what's the next few days going to be like? I didn't know my ways around. I didn't know how to move around the house and stuff, how they did things. And I was used to talking to people, right? To having friends and family around and to sharing experiences. And that was, I think, the hardest part in the beginning, because I suddenly had no one to share that with, all those experiences, and to build that up with the host family and with the friends at school. That is one of the challenges.
Yeah.
One of the most challenging things.
I can't imagine. I'm trying to grasp all that in a new culture, new language. It's got to be overwhelming at times. So how did you go about working through those challenges and creating those connections with your host family and friends?
Well, in part, I remember one of the first things I did was trying to reach out to all my friends. So just what YFU would not recommend you do, right? Focus on your host family. Do not focus on home.
Yep.
But I remember, like, in the first few days, I felt like, okay, I'm just going to call my friends and hear what their experience is about. And that, again, was like not something the model exchange student would do. I did not have a plan, honestly. I let the whole thing come, and oftentimes I think that's the way it goes. You start school, and then you naturally start making contact, and you find people to hang out with or to go to activities with, and that basically what I did, right?
I cannot imagine that international calling bill.
Yeah.
How much that was.
Oh my God.
Back in the day, we used to have to pay for that.
Yeah, true. No, once in a month, my host family would sit down with me and go through the bill and say, okay, these are local calls, they are covered. These are whatever, national to other regions, and these are international. Those are all yours. So, yes, indeed.
Slap of reality there. Did your sister give you any sort of tips or tricks for connecting with your host family or your friends before you left?
I don't remember that.
That's all right.
She probably did.
Yeah.
But I do not remember talking with her.
Yeah, it's all right.
My upcoming exchange. Yeah.
It's all right. So, you said, you started school and started to get more involved in your new life here in Argentina. So, what were some of the differences that you noticed between Germany and Argentina right away?
Food, and the times that my host family would have dinner.
Okay.
Because Argentinians tend to eat dinner very late.
Oh, okay.
To the point that it was so late that I would not be hungry anymore. And my host mom, I think the first 2 to 3 weeks, she was really concerned that something might be wrong with me because I wouldn't eat dinner.
Oh, no.
And it took me some time to get used to eating dinner really late, like at 11. In Germany, we would eat between 6 and 7, maybe.
Yep.
So that's a little different.
Yes.
And the other thing that I noticed pretty quickly was different was the freedom kids of my age back then would have or not have.
Yeah.
I was used to going about my ways whenever and wherever I liked, and that was pretty much different. Also because Argentina was going through an economic crisis back then, and there was a lot of social upheaval, and my host family was very concerned. Like, they kept telling me, we're responsible for you, and we wouldn't know how to tell your family if anything happened to you. So I had a pretty tight schedule. I had to let them know where I was, and not take public transport, this kind of stuff, and that was unusual to me.
I can imagine. And I remember now that time of unrest that you're talking about that was happening in Argentina. What was it like being able to watch it literally unfold in front of you?
I missed the most crucial part. End of 2001, beginning of 2002, when Argentina had like 5 presidents in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
I think that was the most critical time, and things had calmed down a little bit when I arrived already.
Yeah.
So to me, everything felt pretty normal because I didn't see much change on the streets, and obviously, how would I have been able to see change because I didn't know what it was like before.
Right.
And that's also why it felt normal to me to just go out on the streets and do things the way I thought it was right to do them. And my family, I think my host family, they were like, "Oh my God, what is he doing? He doesn't know
Right.
things we know."
Oh no.
So yeah, I think I had them very concerned. Yeah.
Fair. Had they hosted before you?
No, I don't think they had hosted before. My host brother had been an exchange student to Germany.
Oh, okay.
And now that we're talking about it, I remember he was placed close to where my family lives in the north of Germany.
Oh.
And we even met once, took him out for dinner in Hamburg.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to meet him before I went to Argentina.
Yeah.
But that's all the YFU experience the host family had, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you ended up connecting, making connections with your host family, trying to just get through the days. In Argentina, were there any challenges that really stood out to you that you had to overcome during your time on exchange?
So this freedom aspect was a challenge for me
Yeah.
back then. And I remember I just tried to accept it as it was, but I found it pretty challenging. And I tried to speak to my host family about it.
Mhm.
And that was not really a solution. And I mean, what could they have done different? It was just the way it was, and I would have had to accept it. Unfortunately, we never managed to talk it through properly.
Yeah.
Also, not one of the most glorious moments of YFU Argentina. The support person that I was supposed to have was not present at that time when I would have wanted to address things with the host family. And eventually, I think, I don't know for sure, but I brought this up once with my host mom. We talked about it, and shortly after, it was decided that I would change host families. So I do suspect that they also let YFU know, look, this is becoming pretty challenging for us to deal with this freedom-loving kid. And so I moved to another host family after half a year, also to a different city in an entirely different region of Argentina. I did not find this particularly challenging. I mean, it meant I had to start over again to make new connections, start at a new school, find friends and stuff. But I just accepted things as they were and said, okay, this is what I have to do now. And it's, I mean, often kids are afraid of moving homes and starting over at another place. But I found it was also a very nice opportunity to get to know another part of the country and to get to know a second family, and their lifestyle was completely different. A lot less money than the first host family had, a lot more freedom.
Hey, there's plus.
And very nice people also, yeah.
That's interesting. And we do hear, we have heard a few stories of students who had to move to different host families. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's not something we necessarily want, but it happens. It does happen, and there are support systems in place to help with that transition.
Yes, and I think it's important that that the kids understand that it is something that can happen, and it's nothing bad. Your exchange is not bad because you did not spend it with just one host family. In fact, it can be better if you move, because after all, we bring total strangers together, and it would be pretty weird if that worked out all of the times.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then with your new host family, and you're in a new part of Argentina. So what were some differences that you noticed between the two areas of Argentina that you lived in?
So the climate was very different. It was not that hot and dry. For instance, The region where my second host family lived is a region of wines,
Oh, okay.
where they grow a lot of wine.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
that was very popular around there.
It's okay. If
I don't
there's
remember
not
any
tons.
differences, but I need to
Yeah.
tell you something now that I think of my second host family.
Yes, please.
I came home from my exchange
Okay.
home to Germany, and my parents had friends over. Couple. She is Spanish and he's Argentinian. So he would ask me how I was going to Argentina, and I told him I was with this second host family in San Luis. And he said, "Oh, that's interesting because we used to live in Argentina in San Luis 30 years ago, so in the 70s." And I said, "Yeah." I was living with this single mom who works as a teacher and also at university as a math professor. And he said, "This is interesting because we used to work at the university." And I said, "Yeah, I was staying with Maria Rosa Verraono." And he said, "I put the house numbers on her house when she moved in. We lived with her 30 years ago, and we haven't been in touch since." And and they reconnected.
Oh my God. That is wild. The world gets smaller every day, does it not?
It
That's
does,
so
yeah.
cool. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that. Speaking of staying connected or connection, do you keep in contact with any of your host family members?
Unfortunately, I'm not very good at keeping in touch. So, no.
That's
I mean,
all right.
it might have been different had we had internet. And I must say, so there was internet around, but we just did not have internet at home. So it was not as available as it is today.
Yeah.
And my host family in Argentina did not have internet at home, for example. And maybe it would have been different if they if we had been a few years more advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pity. I'm always thinking about trying to reconnect, and I keep in touch with a couple of friends.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm afraid no.
That's okay. And I mean, it's never too late. You never know.
Yeah.
You could find them and reconnect again. But if not, that's okay too. That connection lives in the heart, lives in the mind, and that's a beautiful thing as well.
Yeah.
So, about Argentinian culture, were there any specific things that like stuck out to you? Something you really enjoyed during your time there?
Yeah. So obviously, drinking mate.
Oh yeah.
It's a very bitter Argentinian tea.
Yeah.
They drink it in a special cup with metal. What do you call them?
Straw.
Metal straws,
Yeah.
right? And it's a very nice way of sharing because you fill up the cup and then you pass it around, and so everybody drinks from the same cup.
Yeah.
And that is something that I've grown very fond of. At first I did not like the tea because it's really very bitter. You have to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's something whenever I drink it, it reminds me of the good times that I had. It's weird to do it on my own, so I don't do it on my own. It's just when I am with people who are familiar with this habit that I share that.
Yeah. I for people at home, I mean, I met you before at the staff conference in Denmark, and we had a friend from Argentina who brought the mate, and I remember trying it there. It was like I admit I didn't like it at first either, but I have a bit of a sweet tooth, so but it is really cool, the whole preparation and that connection together. Although drinking from the same straw now post COVID probably sends shivers down people's spines, but it's really a cool way to connect, and I think everybody should try it at least once.
I would recommend so, yeah. And if it's too bitter, there are some regions where they add sugar to it, so it's not that bitter. It's also very nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Good to know for anybody who might be going to Argentina.
Yes.
So after your experience in Argentina, are you happy with the decision to go there as opposed to your first choice of Canada?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my first choice of going to Canada was also not really thought through. I mean, just as thought through as going to the richest country in Latin America. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy with the experience I had and the people I met.
And
I'm in the US now, so
yeah, you're
I'm
here
catching
now.
up on that experience.
Yeah, it's a little mini exchange.
Yeah.
And then you'd mentioned earlier some of the preconceived ideas you had about Argentina, the richest country in
Yeah.
Latin America. Did those notions change after your time there? How did your idea of Argentina develop?
Yeah, so I remember finding it very impressive to drive into the city of Buenos Aires from the airport,
Yeah.
because I had this idea of Argentina being a rich country, and then driving into the city,
Yeah.
we would see many poor areas, or areas I considered to be poor.
Yeah.
So it's I quickly realized, oh, this is pretty different from what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason I did have this preconception, but it was not very strong. It's not like sometimes people have preconceptions and they need things to be the way they think they should be.
Yeah.
And I was pretty naive about all this, but that also helped me, because I simply said, okay, apparently it's different, but okay, and that's it.
Grow and develop and change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that open-mindedness is crucial for anybody trying to go on exchange or even thinking about going on exchange. And
absolutely.
Being adaptable, I guess is the better term. But so after you came back home, if I remember correctly, when we talked, your family decided to host as well.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that decision come about?
I was not involved in that because I was in Argentina.
Oh, okay.
At the time, they decided and signed up to host a student. But I remember that my parents had this idea of giving and receiving. So I got the opportunity to go abroad, and so they would also want to give that opportunity to someone else. And at the end of the day, it only works if you have the money and if you have host families who are willing to open their home to a foreign student. So that was their idea, to give something back. So they decided they would also do that.
Hey, have you ever thought about bringing the world to your home?
I have. With YFU USA, you can. By hosting an exchange student, you'll experience a brand new culture right in your own home.
It's an incredible opportunity to make lifelong connections and help a young student discover the American way of life.
Want more info? Visit yfuusa.org to learn more about how you can become a host family today. That's yfuusa.org. Bye.
It was not the first time. After my sister had come back from her exchange, we hosted a student from Argentina for half a year, not through YFU back then, I remember. Was something that she had organized herself. And I think my sister became aware at her school that girl was looking for a host family. And that may also have influenced my decision to go to Argentina, maybe.
Yeah, maybe subconsciously.
No, so my parents signed up to host with YFU, and it was shortly after I came back from Argentina that my host sister from Latvia arrived at our home.
Okay.
Ilse. And we are still in touch with Ilse today.
Yay, so, okay. That's
that
great.
Connection we were able to maintain.
Awesome. So from going to being the exchange student to being the host brother, how did you notice what were the differences between those experiences?
Yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah.
When you're an exchange student, you somehow expect the people around you to help you and to guide you, and to take you with them to things, right?
Yeah.
Which can be a little bit tricky because you must not rely on that too much, because it can get tiring, and that is what happened to me with my host sister. I hope she will not listen to this. But I think I can say that because we have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
It felt like at times it felt like a burden. Like, okay, I need to always take initiative and motivate her to do something. And I think at some point I just gave up and said, okay, if she doesn't want to do it herself, then she doesn't want to do it, and it's fine. I think she had a great experience.
Yeah.
And the fact that she now lives in Germany with her husband and 2 kids attests to that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. And were there any bits of her Latvian culture that you and your family ended up continuing in your
Oh,
family?
yes.
Okay. Such as?
So her mom knew this bus driver
Okay.
whom she would then send, used to send food, Latvian food to Germany.
Aw.
And I remember I especially liked this Latvian smoked ham thing. Don't remember, don't know what they call it, but once a month, I think she would send food over, and I would eat all this ham. That was very nice. Well, and things we keep. So I don't think there is anything that we keep in terms of tradition, but we enjoy going to Latvia and the region a lot. We've gone several times. Also met her family there.
Oh,
It's a lovely place.
that's so cool.
So anyone who thinks of going on exchange, consider Argentina, but also Latvia would be a good choice.
Absolutely. Good to know. And I mean, Latvia, I'm sorry.
They speak
my,
Latvian.
Yep, my American ignorance is showing. Yes,
They have a
speak
large Russian-speaking population.
Okay.
It's also not the easiest aspect of Latvian society, especially nowadays with that conflict with Russia going on. So Latvians are pretty concerned about the influence Russia may take or try to take using this Russian-speaking minority.
Yeah.
But they speak Latvian.
Okay.
And well, I've never learned any Latvian. It seems pretty hard to learn.
Yeah.
But not impossible.
Yeah, no, nothing's impossible. Come on,
No.
give it a shot.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned with Argentinian culture, you kept the mate. You really still enjoy that. Were there any other aspects of Argentinian culture that you carried with you and kept with you?
Yeah, music.
Okay.
I enjoyed Argentinian music, rock music. So for the years following my exchange, I would look out for Argentinian and Latin American rock bands touring Europe and go to concerts. That is something. Argentinian asado, so the good Argentinian barbecue. And dulce leche, food mostly.
Yeah, food is a universal language.
A different conception of time. So people say we Germans are always very on time.
Yeah.
I think it's not so true anymore nowadays. It used to be back then. It is hard for me to be on time, and that is something I remember was hard to me for except when I was an exchange student in Argentina.
Yeah.
Like, my host brother would say, okay, we're going out, we're meeting our friends at 10, and I would be ready at 10, and waiting for us to leave, and he would be doing whatever, and he would not get ready until, I don't know, midnight. and it's just a thing. You agree to meet, and then it's like, it's 10, maybe it's 11, maybe it's 12.
The punctuality thing with German people is one of the stereotypes I've heard, which is why we started recording a little later. I was like, oh no, is he going to be upset? we're running late. Oh no.
No, I'm used to that now.
Yay.
I brought that back with me to Germany, and it's making my German friends upset a lot of times because
it's like, hey, this is your lesson in cultural exchange, okay? So, would you say that your experience, like hosting and being, like having your own exchange experience, would you say that influenced your future plans afterwards?
So it would be weird to say no because I work at YFU.
Yes.
So and I counted the years earlier. I've been with YFU longer than I've not been with YFU before. So it's more than half of my life now. So yes, I would say it has impacted
maybe a little bit.
my future.
Yeah. Was that a conscious choice? Like, after exchange, I'm going to have a career that focuses on exchange, and I'm going to continue that. Was that something you had in your mind?
No. Again, I did not have much of an idea of where my life would go.
Yeah.
But this opportunity opened up. After I came back from my exchange, I started volunteering.
Okay.
And when I was done with my studies at university, the opportunity opened up to join YFU as a staff member. So I said, oh, this is a good opportunity. I like being with YFU and to work with so many nice people, because that is something that I find is true in YFU. There are so many nice people around, and I really enjoy working with all of them in Germany, all of you here. It's just so nice to know that we share certain values and the way we work with each other and motivate each other, even in times, in challenging times, more challenging times. So it seemed like a good thing to do, and here I am. It's been 10 years since I joined as a staff member, and I don't regret it.
Awesome. Yeah, and I definitely know what you're talking about with that overwhelming connection, that culture of love that radiates through the people here, and everybody is so mission oriented, and it's very inclusive and very welcoming. I don't know if you know this about me. I never went on exchange, and I've never hosted.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
No, to be honest with you, I didn't know YFU existed. I grew up an hour north of here. I had no idea it existed.
Okay.
But in my high school, there were quite a few exchange students. And so I was interested in that. I was very curious about them. I ended up befriending a lot of them, but I never had my own experience, and we didn't host either when I was growing up. And I found YFU through a Facebook post, and it was for a job opportunity. I was like, oh, that seems fun.
Well, that's very interesting to hear, because again, that is a preconception I have in my head, being so involved with YFU, that this is kind of natural and like, isn't this something everybody does? And no, it's not.
No.
So very cool to hear that you still found your way to YFU.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
How long have you been with YFU now?
Oh my gosh, it'll be 3 years next March. Yeah, and I started off as it was called like a community manager coordinator. So our placement staff, I was essentially one of their assistants. And tried helping them with their host family book appointments and just anything I could to try to keep YFU USA running. They throw me in, coach. I'm in. But my background is in like public relations, marketing, social media stuff. That's what my bachelor's degree is in public relations. Ended up working with a lot of international students there too, because there was this program where they would match international students with American students to try to give them like a buddy to be around campus and kind of show them around. So I ended up doing that, and I ended up becoming good friends with this girl named Anwar from, I believe it was Saudi Arabia. And it was really cool. I loved hanging out with her and showing her around and letting her see a little bit more of our little tiny college town. But so I had mentioned I really wanted to be part of marketing, and so when the opportunity came up, I applied, and I've been here ever since, and it's been quite a ride.
Not the easiest times to work at YFU, right?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but that's why I'm grateful for things like this podcast. This is something my supervisor and I had been talking about doing for over a year, but neither one of us really had the skills to make it happen. And then we added a new team member, and she had the skills to help create this. So shout out to Mel, the producer behind the camera that I'm looking at right now.
So cool.
Yeah, and so you get to hear you really get to hear the impact that hosting and studying abroad has on people. And in my personal experience, I feel like I get to kind of vicariously live through you all. And that's like, I'm like, what did this moment feel like? What is that like? Like I can picture myself in that moment and feel what it was like for you. And it's one of the coolest things about this job.
It's a cool way to share the what exchange has to offer, and what stories people experience in student exchange. I bet.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And
cool.
Doing the staff conference in Denmark was even more eye-opening. For a long time there, you're all just names in screens. Then putting names to faces.
I think this is something that YFU should, YFU, the global YFU community should try to do more often.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy. I don't know if you remember that I stood up and just said YFU Germany will do it 2025.
I did remember that, yes.
My boss was, let's say she was not entirely amused at first, but I'm very happy to say that we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I think the news just came out
Yes.
a day ago or so
Yeah.
that the funding had been secured, and YFU Germany is going to organize it in cooperation with YFU Poland.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's so important to. I mean, we talk about exchange and about sending kids abroad and
Right.
trying to teach them. You need to get in touch with people, make
Yeah.
friends,
Yeah.
and then we just sit in front of our screens and work with people around the world
Yeah.
without ever meeting them.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Not quite. No, not like you think. No, I remember I walked away from there with a lot of fresh perspective, a lot of ideas, and so many
cool.
friends and connections
Yeah.
that I still talk to some of them to this day, and my life is so much better from meeting them and
That's so good to
meeting
hear.
YFU.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, and. So, if we haven't convinced listeners yet why they should get involved with YFU and bleed purple like we do, to somebody who may be listening who's thinking about hosting, studying abroad, volunteering, just being a part of something like a cultural exchange organization, why should they get involved with YFU?
Because it's the chance to experience a once in a lifetime experience. You don't know what you will get. You
No.
don't know who you will meet and the connections you will be able to build. You will certainly be able to learn many things about a foreign culture or foreign cultures, but also about yourself. So this is something that I found very enriching about the whole exchange experience, that it also taught me a lot about who I was that I did not know at that time. And again, it's special to do it at that time. So I can only encourage all the young people to consider doing this. I mean, if a year is too long for you, or seems to be too long to you, you can do half a year. I think we even offer 3-month programs or short-term programs.
Yeah.
Get started, whatever it is that you do. It's really enriching and worthwhile doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, hosting, what could there be? What could be better than like staying where you are and bringing the world into your home, learning something about the world and sharing your own story at the same time.
Perfect. And as sort of final wrap-up questions coming towards the end of our time together. So what's the future for Christian and the future for YFU? Big, bold concepts here.
I am working on 2 different projects right now. I'm still involved with YFU Germany and in part with the global office. I'm trying to bring our whole IT infrastructure forward and improve it so that international collaboration can work more smoothly and make life easier for our member organizations and the international colleagues who work there. And the project that I'm doing with YFU Germany is, how do I put it? When we started that project, I looked up if there was a translation for the term. In German, it's called Aufarbeitung, and there is no translation for that. It's kind of coming to grips with your past.
Yeah.
In Germany, that's a very big concept because that is what Germany as a society did and went through after World War II to understand what happened, why did it happen, what did we have, what do we have to do so that it doesn't happen again. And what we are trying to do in Germany is to do a Aufarbeitung project regarding sexual abuse. And I'm afraid, I know it's not the nicest topic to talk about, but it's a reality that wherever we work with children and young people, sexual abuse happens, be it on exchange at schools.
Yeah.
And it's something that we have to deal with. So we want to look back and understand where at YFU Germany this has been an issue, if it happened, why it could happen, and what we need to do to avoid that from happening again.
Wow.
And that will be my work for the next 2-3 years, I think.
That's some very intense things you're working with, and I applaud you and YFU Germany for looking into that and doing all you can to prevent that. It's hard too. I mean, host families are vetted. They go through background checks, all the checks and balances to make sure that they're good people. But there are some that slip through the cracks, or some that they're so good that they just don't get caught. It's an unfortunate reality in this line of work.
And you can't look into their heads.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do is to build structures the way that we can intervene and encourage the kids to stand up for themselves as well, and to let them know we are there to support them. And that is what we're trying to do, so that YFU can be a safe place for everyone. That's
wonderful, admirable work. And I again applaud you and give you a ton of credit.
Thank you.
That can't be easy, but somebody has to do it. I'm glad it's you, and I'm glad that it's getting done. It's important. That term you were saying that doesn't have an English translation. What was that called again?
Aufarbeitung.
Aufarbeitung. Okay.
Yeah. We started in Germany, and hopefully it will have an effect on the network, and at some point other organizations will do something similar. I understand YFU Austria is working on a similar thing, because after all, whatever we will find for YFU Germany will affect our partners as well.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. It's all great new strategies that we can use to protect these students and help them to have an even better experience. That's really all we all want.
Yeah.
So, to wrap this up is there any memories from your time on exchange or your time with YFU in general that really stand out to you as a memory you love that we didn't get to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have this memory from when I was already working with YFU as a staff member. We had a girl who signed up to go to China.
Okay.
And it turned out she couldn't go because she is from Kosovo, and China would not accept Kosovo citizenship.
Oh.
So she had signed up, and she had done the pre-departure orientation, started learning Chinese, and eventually we had to tell her we're so sorry, but we just can't make it happen because you will not be able to travel, right? And at first she was so devastated because that had been her dream. And fortunately, we could convince her that she could still go on exchange, think of another country. She ended up going to Thailand. And I remember that a couple of months later, I had a letter from Thailand in my postbox at the office. And I was like, oh, who is writing me from Thailand? And didn't expect that. And it was her. And she sent a few pictures and shared about her experience and just said, thank you. She was having such a great time and was able to live this exchange experience. And even a bit later after her exchange, she reached out again to let me know that she had held on to her dream of learning Chinese and going to China. I don't know if she managed to go to China, but she let me know she signed up for a course and she studied Chinese, and tried to make that her dream come reality, well, the way she could, right?
Yeah.
And I found that very, very impressive that she did not let herself down because of this setback that she experienced.
These kids are incredible.
Yeah.
So many incredible students that come through here.
They are.
Yeah.
And what I take from that is, at the end of the day, it does not matter where you go in exchange. The important thing is that you do and that you get to live this experience of being somewhere else.
Beautifully said. Well, Christian, I can't thank you enough for your time and talking to me today and sharing your insights and your stories. It's been an absolute honor and an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yay, I'm
I
glad.
enjoyed it.
Yay, that's all.
And I hope you can go to the next staff meeting.
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
And thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time.
Kelsey.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners, so much for tuning into this episode of Life Exchange Stories of Understanding. I've been your host, Kelsey Ross. Until next time, bye. Listen to Life Exchange Stories of Understanding now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.